second. All right, we're live there. So how you been there, Buffalo?
Man, I've been good, you guys, man. How y'all doing?
Man, we've been kicking absolute ass doing records and podcasts. It's been freaking. Last year was a busy year. You were busy as hell last year too, wasn't you?
Yeah, man, we were working in the pandemic, man, so, you know.
Yeah, that's was one of the questions I was going to ask you today about how life is after the pandemic. You know, you guys still just is it the same or is it different?
It's a little different. It's a little different because it's kind of like people are just trying to get readjusted to being around each other. You see how perfect I pour that beer?
I know, that's perfect.
Man, you know, people are just getting used to being out in public and still reserved a little bit, you know what I'm saying, to being around each other. So,
Right. Well,
you know, before the pandemic, we were passing around bottles of Buffalo Trace in the crowd, you know what I'm saying, and people was just, you know, drinking and then passing
Right.
it down.
but it ain't like that
It's
now.
not going to happen after the pandemic. That's not going to happen. We might have started the pandemic doing shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you think so? No, man.
Hey, yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know. It's rumor has it. We were out west. We was on the West Coast right during that time in the early 2000s, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
and they was just like everybody either get on back to where you was from, or you basically gonna have to stay out here, you know.
Did you stay out west?
No, we left. We was in
You
Vegas.
came back to Louisville?
Yeah,
But you're not originally from Louisville, are
yeah.
you?
Born and raised in Louisville, but I lived in Bowling Green for 10 years.
I've heard a lot about you and stuff, and you know you've been my friend for years. But it's like and that's what's great about the podcast. I learned a lot about my friends, you know. And you guys got your record deal when you were in college.
Yeah, I was I was 18, man. And we got a big 60-page record contract back then when, you know, they had fax machines, you know what I'm saying? So they faxed, Atlantic Records faxed. And the story of Nappy Roots getting on, you know, it's kind of, it's wild because nobody really knows exactly how it happened, right? So it's a few different avenues. I heard that Static Major, rest in peace, you know, he used to write for Aaliyah. He wrote Genuine Pony and all of that. He's from
Okay.
Louisville, Kentucky. And we used to sell our music out in the parks and stuff like that. So rumor has it is he got a hold of one of our CDs and let somebody hear it from Atlantic. And they got in touch with us through that. Otherwise, I don't know how they picked up our music in Bowling Green, Kentucky, because we just was on campus. That's it, you know. And then what?
Really?
Our thing is, we wanted to always utilize campus like our own little world. You see what I'm saying? So, the genius in what we did was we would record an album right before the breaks for school. So basically, winter break comes, we would have an album out. Right before winter break comes, everybody does their finals, and then it's like you're flooded on campus with a new Nappy Roots record. Or springtime comes, and right before, you know, summer break, everybody lets out to go to, you know,
Right.
away for summer. You got a Nappy Roots CD, and the reason why we did that is because people would leave campus in Bowling Green and go home to Arizona. They would go home to Tennessee. They
Right.
would go home
Right,
to Wisconsin.
dude.
And then they would turn their friends on to this little group out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. So that's another way that we may have gotten the attention of Atlantic Records. But basically, nobody knows that part.
Just Atlantic,
Atlantic just rung our phone, you know. And we had, back in the days, you know, you would put your phone number on the back of your CDs and your tapes and all of that stuff. So
Was there a specific A&R guy that came to see you play?
Mike Karen, yeah.
Okay,
Mike
okay,
Karen,
I know him.
He discovered Nappy Roots, yeah. It's quote unquote, yeah.
But you don't know how it got to Atlantic, though.
You had to ask him. Actually, he's the
I
only
will
person
ask
that
him.
knows. Yeah.
I will ask him. I'm supposed to go to New York pretty soon to
Yeah,
talk to
so-
some folks. That is freaking crazy, though, man. That's
so-
awesome.
Here's like the awesome part is we all college dudes, right? We all on campus at this point. And like
Right.
I said, I'm 18, so I'm fresh out of high school. We all like playing jokes on each other and pranks. You know how you
Right.
do in college.
Right.
ordering pizzas to somebody's dorm and then making them pay for it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even order it. Whatever. We would just do crazy stuff, right?
Right.
And so when you get a phone call saying, "Hey, this is Mike Karen from Atlantic Records. We want to, talk about signing you guys." We we're going to entertain this for a couple seconds, but we know who is this really on the other end, pranking us. So we actually hung up on Mike the first time they called. We hung up on Atlantic. And like, man, you're not going to get us. Click. You know what I'm saying? And
that's freaking
a couple
awesome.
like a minute later, we get the guy calls the phone back and is like, "Don't hang up. This is serious. I'll meet you guys in Nashville." And so this is where we met. We came down to Nashville, met at the Hard Rock down here. And the dude was like, "Order whatever y'all want, and here's all the music that you could possibly listen to. All of these different, all Atlantic artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And albums from movies and soundtracks and all of that stuff." So they laced us with that, and I was like, "This is real." And give me the most expensive thing on the menu just to make sure, Let me get the tall steak. The
real tall steak.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, you didn't have an attorney that
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's one for Nappy Roots movie would be really, really funny, man, because
was it Jim's on Walt?
It's so crazy, man, because I couldn't even tell you the name of, but it's so here's how it happened. Like, of course, we signed like one of the worst deals back in the day, that you could sign, for 7 albums, and we were told that this was the deal of a lifetime. Come on down and we got some good counsel from a few different attorneys, but the attorneys that we decided to go with, the day that we signed the contract, we go out of the attorney's office and there was like a bus. It seemed like there was this bus parked. We never really looked on the other side of the street. So then we come out from signing, and then this car moves and it's like a building that said Atlantic Records. I guess it was some type of satellite office right across the street from the lawyers that we hired to do our deal for us, between us and Atlantic. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I felt like, they probably got in and said, "Hey, let's work together to make sure that
we get the better deal."
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, Nappy Roots, we sold more than what we were projected to actually sell, and we went platinum in 6 weeks. No, we went gold in 6 weeks, and we ended up going platinum in not too far after that. And it's still selling, so we had to renegotiate our contract. And
so it's funny because I've read some stuff that says that you're categorized as a alternative Southern rap.
Yeah.
But crazy, but honestly, you're just a pop artist that freaking just made big,
Yeah, I don't know what that means either, because nobody was called alternative before Nappy Roots. You get what I'm saying?
I know, and that's weird. And also, too, do you feel? I'm gonna ask you some strange questions. Do you feel that the Nappy Roots, you guys, turned Atlantic Records to a little bit more of the hip hop crowd and the artists? Because they seem like that's when they really, because it seemed like that's when they really started signing a lot of hip hop artists.
True.
After you guys.
They started taking more chances on the non-traditional. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they had Little Kim was signed to Atlantic at the time when we were there. They had, of course, the R&B game sold up with Brandy and Ray J and Aaliyah and Timbaland, and all of them was on it.
Yeah, Timbaland.
Atlantic. Trick Daddy was on Atlantic Records. Fat Joe was on Atlantic Records. But there was no room for a Southern act that nobody had ever heard of. You get what I'm saying? So when we came out, man, the climate of the United States, the climate of the culture was right to be able to soak in our music. It's kind of, it's wild. So, and I don't want to offend nobody with this comment that I'm about to make, but I really feel like during that time, it was the early 2000s, right?
Right.
And like we just was talking about the pandemic and how everything was kind of different before the pandemic. The same happened before 9/11, right?
It was,
It
wasn't
was
it?
different.
Way different.
And when it came to music, and especially in the music capital of the world at that time, which was New York, it wasn't really welcoming to Southern culture,
It wasn't.
especially Southern hip hop. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So for us to come to New York and try to promote our music and running into a lot of you are from where? What? Who? You know what I'm saying? And it's
Right.
kind of really been kind of pushed to the back burner. Okay, but whatever.
Because Queens was the focus at that time.
Queens was the focus. And then of course you had some acts out the South, like Outkast. They had solidified themselves. Master P at that time and Cash Money had solidified themselves, but they still weren't getting a lot of play in New York at all. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's where our label was at. So, you know, we were able to see how New York was like the city that will walk right past you, right, and not acknowledge you as a person. And then the tragedy happens. And we sitting here witnessing this. We don't even know what's ready to go on with us, let alone the world. Or we in war. What's going on? And at this time, I'm still in the projects. I'm in Bowling Green, in HUD homes, watching on probably stolen cable, watching my videos on TV, watching the towers fall down and all this. And I'm like, it's over. Like, you know, we were this close and we don't know what's going on. Our album is supposed to come out in February.
Right.
And September 2011, this happens. 2001, excuse me, this happens. 2002, February was when Watermelon Chicken and Grits dropped.
Okay. And that thing blew
up. But this is what I'm trying to say. I don't think that album would have blown up had it not been for the tragedy that it caused the people to be
unite.
able to listen and look at each other and ask one another, did you have family, or how was you affected by this, that, and the third. So now you got a whole city that basically changed like they was in the South. You know how we wave at somebody we don't even know. They come around
Exactly.
the corner. It kind of went that way for quite some time in New York, and they were able to kind of say, okay, this music right here kind of gives me the same type of vibe that I'm feeling now when it comes to my fellow human
Us
being.
being one nation.
Facts. So I think that that tragedy kind of brought us together. You know what I'm saying? And that was the silver lining, and our music just hit at the right time.
That's incredible. I mean, to feel it that way, because I think it would have hit anyway. It was just great record.
I don't know, Malcolm. I'm telling you,
The timing of
people
it.
was not ready to hear what we was talking about at that time. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Cause look, you got to understand, this was the height of the bling bling era. We talking about hip hop was big pimping, and you know everybody had on the bling bling. That was the height of the term bling bling. Cash Money was this and that.
Right.
Everybody had on jewels. Everybody was popping Cristal. And then here you got a group called Nappy Roots talking about family and being cool with who you are. And just
Loving each other.
appreciating the little things in life. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And man, you know, that message was well received, but it took something like that to kind of say, you know, let's slow down and appreciate each other. And here goes some music to your life right now.
That made everybody feel like it was about them.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was about them. Because I remember hearing, I forgot which song, but I remember driving down the road and I remember going, that's about me.
Right.
You know, I'm serious. You know, it would have been about anybody, you know. But, man, when did you know that this was your destiny, though? When you were really young? I mean, when did you start with music?
I started, I wrote my first song when I was 11. And, where do I start? Well, to answer your question, I was in 4th grade and I realized that I needed to do something that was going to get me out of this town, because this is not the last stop for me. I remember realizing at a certain moment in class, looking out the window in fourth grade, like, yeah, this town is. This is not where
This
this
is
is not my
not.
last stop. I
Gotcha.
got to do something that's going to prepare me to something bigger because I know something bigger is out there for me. And so shortly after that, of course, we was all getting into the hip hop and dancing and beatboxing and all of that, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do until in the moment kind of happened when I was inspired was when I kind of ran up on in hip hop they got what you call a cipher. And a cipher is when you got a group of people kind of, I wouldn't even say battling, but you just got a group of people showing skills as artists
Right.
back and forth to each other verbally, I don't know what kind of you would equate that to, but a cipher is it almost looks like a fight if you're not trained to look to see, and that's what I thought it was. And this was before you even knew what it was. It was just a group of people in a circle, and that's what a fight was back in the day. Two people was in the middle of that circle, right? And
Right.
everybody was
Fighting.
like, back up,
Right.
let them fight.
Right.
So I'm running to it because I'm like, who's fighting? Who's in there? It might be one of my friends or something. I got to see what's going on. I run over there and I see my best friend. He was sitting on a bike, and he was he was beatboxing, and and then my and our mutual friend was on the handlebars, just freestyling and looking up in the sky, and just saying rhyming words about the situation at hand. And nobody understood what was going on. Right now, anybody can freestyle right now, and it's so common that you know what you're
Right.
looking at.
Right.
But back then, my mind was blown, and I ran home and I wrote my first rhyme right then and there. And my pops, my pops was an artist. My pops was he was a musician, drummer. He plays keys. He probably anything he could pick up, he plays. And but drumming was his thing.
Right.
And as I was getting older, he started managing groups. And so I'm kind of like hiding all my stuff, hiding my raps and what I wanted to do because Pops is managing these artists, and these artists basically they come first. Why would I tell my pops, hey, look at me, I'm just now starting to work with me when he's got some artists over here who's more
Wow.
seasoned. So I was hooking up mics and keyboards and going to shows and just, I was still writing quietly, right? But
You didn't ever show him your work.
never did. But my mom, she stumbled on my work one time, and she was like, "What's all of this? Is this homework?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm 11 years old at this time." And so she asked me to do one for her, so I rapped one of my rhymes for her. And yeah, man, she told my pops, "You got to listen to your son." And from then on, he started working with me. He brought a couple of my friends in the neighborhood. We started a group together, so he would work with all of us. And I was doing shows, and by my senior year in high school, I mean, I'm rapping the announcements before school. I'm doing the pep rallies, and I'm doing like my senior English project. I wrote a rhyme about Grendel. Beowulf, the
Beowulf, yeah,
the book Beowulf. And I probably failed that class, but that rap saved me. So she passed me because she was like, "I'm going to record this for all my students to come. Like this is the greatest thing ever." So yeah, rap saved me, man. And I ended up, I actually played football too. And during this whole time, I'm getting a bunch of these letters, and I didn't even know nobody from my neighborhood was going to college, and it wasn't even a thing. I knew I wanted to rap, and but I was getting these college letters, man. Come to college and play football at this little school called Western. They hit me the most. Western Kentucky. They was writing me every week, calling my phone. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and see what they doing. So I went down to Western Kentucky That's where I met Nappy Roots, and rest is history.
Well, that's crazy. That's a freaking awesome story, and it's like it. It's so funny, like when you know somebody for so long, like I've known you, and just not ever get to sit down and just hear the real story.
For sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How do you feel like where we're at today with music? Do you feel good about the climate right now, or do you think it's bad, that it's oversaturated? Is it?
I think that the balance is off.
And like I'm like for some though kid in college, like you when you were in college, to get a phone call from Atlantic probably ain't gonna happen today. Not unless he's selling them. No, it just ain't gonna happen today. It's not gonna happen like that, and that's what's sad.
Well, I tell a lot of artists that I work with now that you got to build a base. You got to find a base because that's what they want. Like there's no A&Rs anymore. There's no more Mike Karens that's calling and signing and building and taking you to the studio and letting you feel your way around first before you really jump into the deep end. They want to make sure that you got your branding together. They want to make sure you got a fan base, your followers is up, your likes is up. They want to make sure your streams is up. You know, what type of numbers are you doing? They need to see you already moving your product, and then they'll sign you and basically put out what you already been doing and add a couple more songs to it, and there you go.
Do you think this is hurting music?
I think that
like the really kick-ass artists, maybe
it's taking away the opportunity to find the Kendrick Lamars out here, you know, the diamonds in the rough that you would not normally find because they're not the cookie cutter artists that sound like everybody else. You see what I'm saying? And so now the industry's got these hip hop artists trying to be like the last person who made the top 10 charts, make a song like that, and I'm gonna get on. You know what I'm saying? So basically, just sound like the last guy.
Yeah, that's my problem with it. Is like so they're copying their influence, and they've copied their influence, and they've copied their influence, and it's like, you know, then it ends up not just watered down, you know, that person from before. But now there is some really kick-ass artists out there, but it's hard to find. Like it's hard. It's so hard to find. It's for me to find somebody I really dig, you know, like I was a latecomer with Kanye West, you know, but you know who, you know, Chase from Elephant Room, he's the one that sat down and said, dude, you got to listen to this guy. Yeah. And then when I started listening to Kanye West, I mean, my life changed, you know. He produced something on you guys, didn't he? He produce? How was he to work with?
So we actually were talking about this earlier. So Nappy Roots, we're a 6-member group. At that time, you know, we were 6, now we're 4.
Right.
So when you're in the studio with 6 artists, and it's just like, all right, we got a beat playing, and we got everybody's writing, and the first person's done. Okay, and he's in the studio. I'm done. I'm waiting on him. That person's done. He gets out. I go in. He's just sitting on his hands. I do my rap. I'm done. I'm sitting on my hands. Somebody else comes in. It's just like it's a lot of times wasted. So with Nappy Roots, we just did a lot of 2 studio things. Like we rent out 2 spots and just jump from studio to studio. I'll do a song and I'll go to the next one, see what they're working on in Studio B. They come over in Studio A. So that's what we did.
Oh, interesting. That's awesome.
And that particular day, Mike City, who is a Grammy nominated producer, he worked with Brandy and a bunch of amazing artists, Carl Thomas, and he did our single Around the Globe that was on the Madden football game.
Yeah.
And so it was Mike City or Kanye West, and they both had the same appointment times. So we split the group up. Me and Skinny went with Mike City, and V, Prophet, and Scales, they went over there with Kanye. Now, Mike City, he's got all of these accolades and plaques and all of this, and I'm like, I want to definitely work with bro. And then you got a guy who nobody's kind of heard of yet, because you know this is early 2000s.
Right.
Nappy Roots went platinum, but you hadn't heard of Kanye yet. He was still a producer, and he was just working on his music. But the guys were like, the guy when they came back from meeting Kanye, they was just like, yeah, bro, it was cool. We brought a beat back. He said, but all he wanted to do was play his shit. So Kanye was playing all of his music, and then and I know my guys, they was just like, bro, Skip, man, what are you doing, Skip? Like, there's a verse on that. We looking for beats. Like, what are you doing? So I thought that was cool because that's a precursor of the Kanye that we see now. Like, he knew what he wanted to do. He knew he was gonna blow up.
Right.
Nobody else kind of saw it early. A few people did.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, you had to kind of it sneaks up on you, and he is great, and he is a genius. So
yeah, I mean he's kind of got himself in trouble right now, but he said some things he shouldn't have said. It doesn't.
You know what though? Hold on, let's talk about this. Kanye just fooled everybody out here. Y'all think he's like just popping off at the mouth saying dumb stuff. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Me too.
I think he needed to get out of these deals, and he did something to make that happen. And it's part of his plan.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a genius. But there's certain things you just don't say about certain people.
That's true.
It's just, there's, I'm not mad at the guy. Hell, I've worked for him. But I never got to talk to him on the phone or nothing. It was just all email and shit. But anyway, I was going to ask you, so I got thrown off of the Kanye thing, and I'm still thinking about him playing those things over and over.
Yeah, we trying to get some beats for our new album, and he just playing all his music. And I was like, hold up, bro, we don't even know you like that, man. Right.
That's so fucking funny, man. So we heard all the story about Atlantic and everything. Was being signed to the label, were you happy with Atlantic? I mean, were they cool with you? That's kind of a weird question because maybe we shouldn't say that.
I mean, Nappy Roots is independent now, and I don't have any fear. I am. I'm happier. I love the freedom. It comes with a lot more responsibility. It's all on us. You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw.
Right.
Nobody else to blame. But I felt like Atlantic helped us get our fan base and introduced us to the world, man. Right. So I'm forever grateful for that. However, man, there's a lot of things that, in these boardrooms and in these meeting rooms was like, we should go this way. And a bunch of people who, never came from our community and, never would understand what would pop in my community is telling me this is what we're going to pay for. And we've been in business for X amounts of decades and hundreds of years, so we know what we're talking about. And then when, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, we could talk about the non-pretty shit because it was glorious up until a point, right? Because I told you, Nappy Roots, we went multi-platinum and we had to renegotiate our deal. So when you're sitting in front of a label that their pretty much whole existence exists on the backs of beating artists out of you know what I'm saying? Basically them getting the lion's share of work that came from somebody else's intellectual property, right? Otherwise that label wouldn't exist. I mean, they have to do that in order to build and sustain. And I get it. I understand that part. But when you supersede this mark, and now you get the power to say, hey, you remember that contract that you tried to sign us to, right? Well, we sold this, we hit this threshold, and we can renegotiate that now. And it's like, oh, y'all think y'all want to renegotiate? Cool. But we got to contractually renegotiate with you. But that don't mean that we have to work and blow you up even more so we can have to pay you more money, you see what I'm saying, at the end of the day. So I really felt like it was almost a little slap in the face because, we kind of wanted to get our shit back from what they did to the Cold Crush, when it came to renegotiating. our lawyer was like, it's gonna be expensive, and we're gonna really make sure that they pay, right? And so they did, and we looking at it like, boom, now we at the start of a beautiful relationship. Everybody's happy, but everybody wasn't happy. So
Really?
they had to just give up a bunch of money that they didn't plan on doing. So,
Right.
and mind you,
How do you navigate that, man? I mean, as an artist,
it was wild because this was in a time when the labels. You remember Napster came out, and all of this kind of was bubbling up into
Right,
this time in the early 2000s, and so a lot of people weren't getting paid. Like Nappy Roots, we sold, like I said, we sold millions of records, a couple million, but we streamed tens of millions, illegally downloaded. You get what I'm saying?
exactly.
So, labels was losing money too, right? So this is when they were like, okay, we're gonna
claw at everything we can.
and we're gonna take Warner, and we're gonna take Atlantic, and we're gonna take Elektra, and we're gonna put them all in one building, and we're gonna get rid of 2/3 of everybody's staff, so everybody else so 3 companies could fit in one building.
Right.
And the artist is expecting these label people to actually do their job, not knowing that they're gonna be having a job next month. You get what I'm saying? So
Right. So they're doing their job half-assed.
they half-ass doing their job. They don't know if they're gonna get fired or not. And you got Nappy Roots, who just went platinum, who's got beats from Kanye, Raphael Sadiq, Little John, and all shit ready to go, and the label falling apart.
Well, see, that was the bad part about the Twin Towers going down as far as your timing goes. I mean, the bad part was that it happened. Period. But
Well,
still,
I don't think that was that wasn't the reason.
see, I thought that was like the paradigm change
No.
with the music. It was
Napster.
in the rock business.
Okay.
In my business, it was like I had a band that came out, Spike 1000, the day first single came out, the day those towers came down, and it was called "Make Me Suffer," and they dropped the band the very next day.
Yep.
And then we all thought everything was going to get, oh, la, la, la. Instead, the rock industry just went completely to the other side and was like the heaviest, most hatefulest stuff you've ever heard in your life because America was angry.
Yeah.
And we're going to war, So, and I felt like then that's when I felt like the labels started falling apart. But now they may not be that. It may not be that way. It seemed to me like that was when everybody stopped spending money. Everybody went, nope, no more rock records. We're not spending money on this shit.
Right.
And I felt like the whole business went out from underneath itself. But you, it lasted 2 or 3 more years before you saw Atlantic starting to fall apart, huh?
Well, I don't think that, like I said, I think that had more to do with the industry changing.
The streaming thing.
Because nobody knew the CDs weren't selling like they were a year previous. You get what I'm saying? And that had to do with streaming going up, though. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Free streaming was going up. So the problem wasn't in the economy. The problem was in the way the music, the funds were shared with the artists. The artists were no longer getting paid for their work, and this is brand new. It's never happened before. You get what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
and I remember having a conversation with one of these label heads. They said, "You guys get paid off of." They talking to us, the artists. He said, "Y'all could get paid from endorsements. Y'all get paid off shows." And I'm like, I'm hearing the label talk like this. And he said, all we get paid off of is music. And then next thing you know, you started getting 360 deals. And they started saying, we need an artist publishing. We need some of their merchandising. We need some of their deals. Anybody doing a licensing deal with them or some type of endorsement deal, we need some of that. And we need your streams. So all of this they were just trying to figure out how they can construct the new industry
And stay in business.
and stay in business with, everybody smushed up into one building now.
Right. So you think? Well, we both know that the streaming thing killed the getting a call in college and going, "Do you want a record deal?"
Yeah.
And do you think that it's a positive thing for young artists though that's coming up as far as like building their own business if they're a sharp left brain, right brain type of guy? And I've met some sharp ones, man.
Yeah.
It seems like more of the urban artists are left brain, right brain. In other words, they know how to do business and they know how to create.
Yeah, they have to hustle. They got the hustle.
Whereas the, and I'm not trying to put anybody in a category. I'm just saying it seems to me like the rock artists don't know how to do that. The white artists don't know how to do the business and create like in because they. I don't know what it is. I mean, I've tried to figure it out. But then you got some guys like this guy Garfield Redding. He's in a band called One Day Alive, and they're killing it. They're doing great. And it's because he knows that business stuff, man, really well, and knows how to place ads on Google, knows how to place his money and spend his money, and do it in the right way. Whereas the other folks don't know how to do that. You're going, what in the hell is You hear some great bands out there. You hear some great bands, and you hear some great artists too. But the ones that aren't left brain, right brain, is that saying it right? I guess so because
you're saying it right.
Because me, I'm a left brain, right brain guy because I'm engineering on one side and then songs on the other side, and so I get that, because I have to do it every day. But some people just can't switch that switch, man.
Yeah, I think it comes from in the urban community. I mean, I could kind of speak about how we take risk. We take a lot of risk too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whether good or bad, but we do it, for whatever reason. And then you're forced to kind of sometimes think of unorthodox and untraditional, unconventional ways to make money in the urban community, right? Automatically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In the pandemic, for instance, you had a lot of Fortune 500 companies shutting down, and then you also had a lot of small businesses in the hood blowing up because they were doing hair in the basement or doing nails on the side, cutting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like finding ways to hustle, and so that doesn't really kind of stop. A lot of the hip hop artists did come from the drug game, and so being able to transition from.
But the drug game, though,
math. We talking about right brain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because left brain.
Left brain, because you're talking about guys who know how to do business.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know how to get their money.
Yeah, exactly.
And that sounds stupid. That's exactly what happened. I mean, they know how they gotta. If they're a coke dealer, they know how much they gotta buy to make so much money, and they gotta hustle to make it to pay that back the debt that they bought
and
it.
They gotta have enough to re-up for next time, so they can, get money next time.
Right.
So.
Well, everything to me is like life or death with those artists. I've got to make it or I'm going to die. And that's not the way it is with a lot of other artists, I mean.
I think that, and not to cut you off, man, I think that is the key to a successful life, period, no matter what you do. And it's not because we've learned it from a book or nothing. We just learned it because we ain't have a boat to go to. So I'm saying we ain't have an escape route to go to. So it's just like, it's this way or no way. You know what I'm saying? And
I definitely do myself.
Yeah. So I think that does kind of contribute to us being more successful with the left brain, right brain. However, we still in an industry that's not set up for you to win anyway.
Right, exactly. No matter who you are, and that's what sucks. Is like, and people take advantage of artists so badly. I mean, people have taken advantage of me my whole life. And it's because I'm from the country, and I just think that everybody's going to be good. And that's just not how life is, man. I just think that everybody's just cool, And I figured out that, hey, man, that ain't how it is. It's like, people are just people, and the way they act sometimes, I just scratch my head. But that's why I know I'm half alien. I'm not fully human. My human traits I really have a problem with, though, Buffalo. I really do. But I'm trying to work through them, man. And me and Junior was talking about it last night when he's over at the house. Of course, my kids, they're all looking at me, of course, like Dad's crazy. But no, the music business is a hard business, man.
It is, man.
And everybody thinks it's like this freaking glamorous, romantic thing, and it's like, oh man, if they knew the truth, it's like, my God.
I don't want to discourage anybody. Listen, I've made a career out of the thing I love, and I would not take any move back, man.
Me too.
I'm still out here touring, bro. We got a huge show coming up in a couple weeks. We're doing festivals. We got endorsements. I mean, we doing campaigns. We got a brewery. I mean, a lot of things have sprung up off of music, man, and I'm grateful. So, you know what I mean? If you work your situation, man, of course it could be great. I'm just saying that it's not. If you let somebody just kind of go off of, hey, here goes a contract. I'm gonna bring it to you at the nightclub tonight. Make sure to sign this tonight while I'm here in the dark real quick. And then I'm going to give you this little money, but then trust that I'm going to do, I'm calculating your money that you making and I'm going to pay you. They not going to do that. All of that is not going to happen. None of that's going to happen. Feel me? Oh, the contract in the club, that's going to happen. But what I'm saying to you is...
It being straight up is not going to happen.
Straight up business is not... Ethical business... I mean, it's not a union for artists, man. It's not a union for hip hop artists out here. So, right. and my point is, when I say that it's not designed for you to win, I mean it's designed for the labels to win, bro. And that's nothing wrong with it. Amazon ain't designed for the customers to win. It's designed for them to win, so they can continue putting out product. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It's just the way of the business. But you got to sometimes understand: am I going to be on this side of the business or on this side of the business? You see what I'm saying? Like, right. I want to be the label owner and making the decisions and saying, here's my budget that I'm going to spend on X, Y, and Z, and I know what's going out. So if it affects this amount of people, I know what's going to come back in, and we have control over this money. Right. And 80% of it is not going to people who's just been sitting at the desk all day
doing nothing and going to fancy meals, right. And freaking fancy clothes and fancy rides and
listen, man, I'm saying, and I say that to say I'm grateful that we were able to receive that access to our fan base, man. For real, our fans, our millions of fans would not have known who Nappy Roots was if it wasn't for these labels.
Right.
We were just in a situation where we were able to get our masters, and be able to be independent and continue our music.
Right. Well, you're still young though. You're planning on doing like a solo career though?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's what intrigues me about you. I want to do a track with you soon too. Well, Brian Fox wants you to come down and do one last week with us.
Yeah.
But he he's always in a hurry to get back home to his old lady.
Shout out to Brian Fox though, man. That's my boy.
He's a boy. He's a good man. Yeah. But I don't blame him for hanging out with his wife either. I love mine like that too. But we just got to get her to come and hang out with my wife so we can do some work done.
You know that.
Yeah, I'll get some tracks ready and stuff. But hey, what would you say to your young self? Because you're still young, man.
Yeah.
You're still real young. But what would you say to your 18-year-old self if you had the be Stille that freaking really, is just like, would you make any decisions differently?
I'm
not talking about women.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change a thing.
You wouldn't change a thing?
No. I think that with me, I enjoy my ride. Like, I'm a person that enjoys the trip. You know what I'm saying? And then once I get to the destination, it's business. But I was on that roller coaster having a great time.
Right.
And I think that looking back, I kind of wish that I would have taken it in a lot more, right? Like being able to appreciate it. I was just enjoying myself so much, and I kind of felt like as I got older, man, I would bring some of my homies from the hood to the shows, or I bring my kids to the shows, and then I started feeling a whole different appreciation for my business and what God has blessed me with, because I'm sitting here seeing other people enjoy the fruits of my labor, and that made me feel like, man, you know what? Now I'm starting to soak in a lot more as I'm getting older. I'm appreciating all my tour dates, man, and not taking these shows for granted. Every show we go
100%.
Yeah, because I understand that I could be in I still could be in the projects watching TV on stolen cable right now. You see what I'm saying? I could be that guy right now. So I kind of, I guess the only thing I would say is, yeah, man, you know, I probably would have sat back and soaked it in a little more and been like, damn, we're doing some amazing things right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro.
That's awesome, though.
And, you know what I'm saying? I guess you would say, I do feel like I'm a bad motherfucker, you know.
Yeah, of course you are.
But sometimes I'm humble too. You get what I'm saying? I'm very humble too. You see what I'm saying? So I think that that sometimes you got to, you know, people tell you sometimes you gotta peacock a little bit. You gotta flex a little bit.
Right, you can't be. I know. I've had people tell me that this past 2-3 years, man, dude, you gotta stand up straight, man. Act like you've done this, you've done that. Man. You know, and it made me wake up and go, yeah, you know, and I try to just look in the mirror every morning and look at myself and go, you're a bad motherfucker.
There you go. There you go.
But also, too, though, I started working out again, so I'm feeling better about myself. But when I'm not working out and stuff, you know, I just feel like crap about myself. But I want to ask you this, too, man. I know this is one of the questions I've written down or thought about earlier. I wanted to ask you, do you feel football helped you with your discipline and with just being an achiever? Like being an overachiever, because you're definitely an overachiever. Mm-hmm. And I've heard you were a badass football player. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, all state.
And, you know, it's like, do you feel that helped you? Because I felt it helped me, that's for sure. Just being in that sport, or any sports, you think it helped these young folks should look at that as something they should consider, just, you know?
Well, I think that the football taught me that even though you think you the baddest motherfucker out here, it's always one other person better than you.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to, as a man, we need to understand our limitations too.
Right.
I put it like this, man. Well, my little nephew, man, like growing up, I used to keep my little nephew a lot. And I used to take him with me. And every time I take him to somebody's house, if it was a little kid over there, he would just grab him and slam him. Like, he would just grab him, pick him up, slam him. Boom, the little kid start crying. And he'd just be like, I was just playing. And he would do this so much. And I was just like, all right, Jordan, one of these days, you're going to run into somebody who ain't going to go for that, man, you know? And I took him to the projects, man, and he tried it on this one little boy. And the little boy countered him and slammed him on his head. Jordan got up crying. And I said, there you go, nephew, I told you. You see what I'm saying? So, right. And from that moment on, he had a calmness about himself. You get what I'm saying? Like it's almost like you gotta. It's like with dogs or lions, or it's got to be somebody who sets the tone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can try all you want, but you ain't gonna mess with Mufasa over here. You know what I'm saying? Like. You know, so
that's awesome.
And I think young men need it, and it's not a lot of that. It's not a lot of father figures going on.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, man. I mean, yeah. So you said 94% of.
Yeah, they said households with their fathers, 94% of them, the children from those households do not see the inside of a prison wall. Yeah,
man, that's.
Yeah. So that's big, right?
That's real big.
Yeah, the presence of a father could make your path or your life.
But it's the same. You told me it was the same thing without a mother, though, too. That's what's crazy. I mean.
Oh no! I said that most of the men in prison grew up with single mothers, man.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, man. Yeah, that's. man, I just want America to wake up or, well, no, not America, the whole world to wake up and you know, me, I'm a man who's had divorces.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, you know, I'm with this one. I've had more kids with her than I have the other two. And she's just an
What's
awesome.
that got to do with anything, though, Malcolm? I'm gonna stop you right there.
It ain't got a thing to do with nothing. But I'm saying though, raising my kids, like I don't even think about being with another woman. No, I'm happy with who I'm with. But it's funny. Like I've always been an escape route somehow with the other ones. You know, like how do I escape from this? You know, but I was always there raising my kids. Though I mean, I was always there for my sons, my two oldest sons. But it just but when a father's in prison and can't be a father to the kid, the prison system don't understand how bad that hurts the kid.
I think they understand fully.
You think so?
Yeah, I just think that it's more beneficial for them and their model to continue to have young men
Because it's money.
pull into their doors, man. So
It's ridiculous.
So, man, I mean, it's up to us. And like you said, it's not America. It's not the system. The system is doing what it was designed to do. So it's up to us, man, to want better for ourselves and want to increase, our positions. You know what I'm saying? And not settle for what we fed. You get what I'm saying? And the more and more people who think like that, the better the world's going to be. And then the system is going to have to change to fit us at some point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I want to ask you one more question because we'll get out of here. I know I've been wearing.
Well, I got time, man. I got a few other things I would like to get into too, man. Some more interesting stuff. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you: Do you believe in like the power of attraction, or the positive thinking thing? Are you into that kind of thing? Because I see that you're like, hey man, that's how the system's built. Yeah. This is the rules. This is what we got to play by because we ain't got no.
I ain't say that. I ain't say we don't have a choice. We definitely got a choice. If you choose to do nothing, then that's your choice to be carried along by the system that's not built for you to win. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or you can attract the things that you want into your life and pull around the people that you vibe with the best, the most positivity. I do believe in that, man. I think that if I sit and listen to, there's studies that's been done, man, like the crystal, you ever heard about the little crystal test where they put a bunch of different crystals in these jars, these like mason jars, and they would say positive things, I love you, you're beautiful, and then the crystals that were formed were the most amazing shapes and geometrically perfect, right?
Right.
Then you had other other jars that you spoke evil and hatred and negativity on. You're ugly, you're worthless, you're foul. And the crystals that formed were deformed. So I'm saying they were
not so pretty.
They were definitely not so pretty. They were basically exactly what you said out of your mouth in this jar to this jar.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So, it just lets you know how powerful your words are, your vibrations, and your positive vibrations at that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard though too that also prayer, like before you pray, if you pray over your food, that the molecules in your food actually change. Mm-hmm. And it's science, it just does. If you bless your food, that the food actually changes and is more healthy for you. I haven't read a lot about that, but I'm gonna get into that this next week. This week, actually, I want to look into that because that's one of the things I have on my list to look into. I think it'd make a great podcast because the science of it is also part of the spiritual. That's the thing that's crazy, It's like, hey man, it's not just science, it's spiritual, Yeah. They all come
together.
Same thing, and I say the same thing as
I like to say God is a scientist, you know what I'm saying? So he's the ultimate scientist.
Well, someone told me the other day, said, well, you think, oh yeah, my cousin, Craig Gibson, I got to name his name out on here. He was like, so I guess we're in a simulation and God is just a nerd and we're just a computer program. No, that's not what we're saying. It's just, I'm just saying that the whole positive thinking thing and the changing the crystal, that shows you right there that it's all about your mind. I mean, is that how you feel? Like your success is going to be based upon your mind frame?
It's not just about that. It's about your voice too, and the things you write down, and the things you speak. So, man, I wrote this rhyme a few years ago. We did this song. Let me tell you about it was the name of the song, and I said something in the verse like something. I said riding in the black and white Benz. Something. I didn't have a Benz at that time. Now my Benz ain't black and white. So, but I do like literally. You know, I got a deal. Got a nice check that came in, and I bought a car with it, and it just so happened to be a nice Benz. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and I don't know if I made that happen with just my words, but I do think that, you know, when you got a lot of these rappers, say for instance in hip hop, a lot of us start off talking about the cars we want and the jewelry we want and the houses we want, and then eventually you end up getting them houses and jewelry and them cars. Now, what you do with them has something to do with your management, and that's when your skill comes in. But I think that the universe blesses you with the things that come out of your mouth. And so if you speak death, if you speak ill will, right, these things could come back too.
Wow. Yeah, I've got... There's things I better watch saying.
Yeah.
No. I'm serious. Like this past week, you know, I had a rough month this month, and it was like I had just, you know, I'm into David Goggins big time. You know who that is?
No, name sound familiar.
That
man.
Navy SEAL guy.
Yeah, I know, bro. Yeah,
know,
he's amazing.
Yeah, and so I started listening more to him, more to freaking, and like, you know, because he's big into controlling your mind.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's probably the toughest man on the planet if I had to guess.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I mean physically and mentally, you know. And I admire the guy because he has a thing about him that makes you listen to. Like, it's really odd. It's like somebody else saying the things he's saying, you wouldn't listen, but him.
He's got a passion about it.
He does. Yeah, he does. Yeah. And but anyway. So I started digging into that this past week and kind of changed my mind frame because I was kind of in this oh shit mode, you know, like, oh man, you know, because I'm having to make some changes in life, you know what I mean, Buffalo, and you know, and it seems like you've rolled with the changes pretty damn good though.
Man, I've reached a good place in my life, man. I'm at peace. I feel centered. I feel connected. Man, I just, you know, I'm at a real good place, yeah. So when I do run into adversity and stuff like that, I just look at ways to solve the problem. I ain't even tripping on, you know, the situation and how fucked up it might be and all that stuff. I'm just trying to find a way out. That's it.
And you just find a solution instead of being all emotional about it like I am.
Yeah.
But I'm too emotional about some things, and I know that. And you know,
you just working yourself up for no reason.
I know. Exactly. You've seen it before too.
Yeah, man. Don't do it.
You've seen me do that before.
Busting them veins in your neck all big and all that. Nah, man. You're working yourself up for no reason.
We are going to have a big party here though before the end of this month. I'm telling you, man. You'll be getting an invitation real soon. We got planned on. We're gonna pinpoint the weekend, okay. And I'm serious. I'm having a bash over here. This is going to be the bash among all bashes. I'm serious. I'm not kidding, man. Me and Junior's going to barbecue. We're going to have a bunch of beer, freaking act stupid, man, and just have a bunch of loud music. Hell, you never know. I might put a stage back here and have people come up and play or something, you know.
I'm with that,
something
man.
Crazy.
I'll turn up with you for sure. I'll bring some Atlantucky beer with me, too.
So, hey, you know what, man? Let's just shoot the shit for a second if you don't care. I want to ask you what you thought about this. Now, I know I don't want to get into political stuff, but I'm wondering about this balloon coming over the freaking
right.
I mean, I have to ask you that because, I mean, what do you feel about the spy balloon going over us?
Man, I mean, that's a no-no, ain't it? Like that's almost like you know, you want some smoke. You know what I'm saying? You want some smoke with America? Is that what that is? Is that what that means? I don't know. I think it's wrong. There's no reason why you should be spying on us. Anything that you need to know, I guess, you could probably find it on our news or public access or whatever like that. If you spying, if you from a different country, I mean, look, America spying on you anyway. You know what I'm saying? Probably. I don't know. That's what they say.
Well, I mean,
But if it's somebody else's balloon out there, you never know what they're using that information for. Probably ain't for no good. So I think they was right in shooting them down.
well, what scared me was the fact that what if it wasn't a spy balloon? What if it was a nuke on it? That's what got me. Like, well, they can just fly a balloon over our country. That may they be just seeing if they can just fly it over and just drop the son of a bitch anywhere they want. Did you ever think about that? That's the first thing I thought of was, well, what if there's a nuke on the thing and they just drop it? That's just, to me, freaking ridiculous. It's like, why would our president even have that? How could he even get to Montana before they saw it? Come on, man.
So look, I just read something on the news that they said that they've been coming. Like, the last president that we had, there was a few balloons that came over that didn't nobody do nothing about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I mean.
Yeah. We don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't like to be spied on by anybody. You know what I'm saying? So
this is our country, and it's like, leave us the hell alone.
Right.
We're.
Period.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with us. We got more nukes. That's
let's not go throwing our nukes around. Like, come on, man.
But because the whole thing about it is, if we went to nuclear war, it would be the dumbest thing. But what would be the point? Then there would be no planet to even freaking inhabit.
Yeah, it's the stupidest shit. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I guess everybody gonna do it at once, and then it's just like, may the chips fall where they may. It's like, nobody can figure out another way to handle y'all's beef.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's no others. Okay, look, man. Before it gets to this point, let's all sit down. What do you want? Okay, this is what I want. Okay, we not gonna get you that. You're not gonna get that. Can we meet in the middle any kind of way? All right, cool. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, just live in harmony.
I feel like you said, like, what is the benefit of blowing up the
entire planet,
the human race?
Yeah.
Who benefits from that other than I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like there's got to be a better solution, is what I'm saying. You feel me?
Well, let's hope that they come up with it. Because let's hope that we don't do that whole thing. Because I don't know, man. This whole doomsday clock thing I saw and all that stuff, man. I just feel like we got a long, long ways to go. I do.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, me too.
And the music industry, like you used to, man. We used to never think about stuff like that. We used to just worry about music. Now,
I don't know, man. The year 2000s. Nah, remember we had that millennium scare, man. You remember when they said all the computers was gonna shut down?
Oh yeah. And then we had 2012.
Yeah, that too.
We had the minds telling us when our world's going to end.
That's right. That's right. Like, I don't know, man. This people. But there's a lot more things to focus on. And this is another thing. Man, like today, I'm glad I'm on your podcast, man. For real, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you inviting me out here, man.
I've been wanting you to come on for so long.
And like I said, man, I'm soaking up all of this because I know that the present is the only thing that matters, man. So we talking about things that don't exist when we talk about, the future and the world's ending. And
you're right.
You can't speak on that stuff, man, because you might not make it in the morning. You get what I'm saying?
You're right.
So let's be thankful for the day. Be grateful for waking up, man, and just, what I'm saying, just doing as much as we can every day, man. So like I said, yesterday we came from Atlanta. We had our 1 year anniversary. Nappy Roots. We own a brewery. One of the first black-owned breweries in Atlanta, Georgia, man, and it was our 1 year anniversary yesterday. Did that, had an amazing show, amazing night, and woke up today, cleaned up the bar, and jumped in the car, came out to Nashville, came to do the podcast. I'm leaving here, I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to spend the night with the family and wake up and take my kids to school in the morning, man. So I'm God willing, that's gonna be, you feel me? And I'm grateful to have that life knowing that today I did as much as I could, man, and been able to affect as many people. Hopefully they heard some cool shit that we had to say today.
I hope so, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I think people will really love it, man. And I appreciate you coming on here. The only beef I have with you is not believing in Bigfoot, man.
Man, I wear a size 14 my damn self, man. Shit, I believe in that. I do believe in big feet down there. You know what they say about big feet.
Oh, yeah, I know. Hey, you know what? I always used to say this. Wouldn't it be cool to be like Bigfoot and go to like a nightclub? Look how many women you'd have around you. Oh, man, you'd be freaking picking up bitches like crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, the chicks be I guess they into the hairy dudes. I thought about this, Malcolm. And before I get out of here, I know everybody, was going crazy over this enhancement, these body enhancements, and as men, like, what would you want to enhance if there was anything that you would want to get enhanced? And you know what I'm saying, and I ain't saying this for no crazy reason. I'm saying this because I know something that this is kind of weird, but it's like. People be wanting to get get like a lot of men want to get their hairline and all of that stuff done and whatever, right? Some people getting calf implants and all this stuff. Women got the BBLs. Me, I think I want to get chest hair implants, man, because my damn chest, man, like I'm sick of being bald in the motherfucker. I got all this beard, man. I still got peach fuzz on my damn chest, Malcolm, though. And I ain't tripping on it because, I ain't had no complaints. But I see the ladies. Sometimes they like the men with the hairy chest. And listen, I ain't out here looking for no love. Trust me, I'm good. But I do want to have some. You know what I'm saying? Like next time, have my chest, not my white shirt on, but have my chest hairs coming out. You know what I'm saying? So I might go to Brazil.
About this.
Yeah, I might go to Brazil and get a chest hair implant if they got it. Yeah. That's weird though, but you know what I'm saying, why not? You know what I'm saying? If I was to change anything, I'm not insecure about it. But
my thing is I want an ass. I told my old lady, I said,
that's
man,
funny.
I'm working out like crazy, because I want to get my ass back, because I don't want an old man ass. You don't want an old man ass.
That's true. It's a lot of I seen a meme the other day. They had a French bulldog. A Frenchie standing up.
I know, I saw it.
This is how men over 30 built. I said, wow,
we gotta cut to that, Jackson.
Yeah, show that meme. Nah, man.
Well, listen, man, I know you got to get home.
Yeah, I do, bro.
And I so appreciate you being on here. This has been probably the best podcast we've had, and I'm not just saying that. I appreciate you, and we're going to have a party here pretty soon, and we're gonna be freaking having fun, man.
Malcolm, you better invite me. I'm gonna bring some of the Nappy Roots down with me, man. Bring a couple guys, and we're gonna turn this place out, man.
Tell Clutch I said hey too, man.
I will. I sure will.
That's a good man. I love that guy. He's so funny. He speaks a lot of wisdom, man. He's a really wise guy.
Clutch was talking about the invention of beer earlier today. He was saying how beer. They used to give it to kids and everything back in the day because it was cleaner than water, almost like, you know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't drink, you might get cholera or some other crazy shit, but they turned their water into alcohol, and then beer became beer.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I think they just found out something that could get them drunk, and they was like, let's capitalize off it. I don't think it was that deep, but
thank you so much.
Thank you, Malcolm, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Hey, new Nappy Roots album on the way, man.
Oh yeah, when's it going to be released?
We tentative spring 2023. So yeah, you guys check it out, man. We got a single called Box of Chocolates that's out right now. It's doing pretty good. So yeah, check that out. And if you're in Atlanta, come to Atlantucky and have a beer on me.
Awesome, man.
Stille.
Stille.